Hi everyone, I just wanted to give you some highlights. I'm not going to be able to post too much today because I'm in the process of helping some people out that are in need, so it's going to be a relatively short post today. But if you go to my prophecy site, BibleProphecyMan.com, or just Google Frank DiMora, Last Chronicles of Planet Earth, it'll take you right to my site, and the first link you can click and you can download my book for free. But what I want to show you today is, for maybe this is the first time you came here, what I wanted to show you is that there are specific signs that show us that we are the last generation. And there is no doubt that we're just about ready to go into the tribulation, or I should say you are if you don't know Jesus Christ, because the Lord promised us that He was going to remove those that believe Him, those that were ready. And He was going to remove those righteous people out of harm's way, and then the 7-year tribulation was going to begin. This is what I believe based on the scriptures that I've read. And so, what are the signs? I mean, read Matthew 24, for example, and he tells us the key. When you shall see all these things happen at the same time, you'll know that this is the generation. And for the first time, everything is happening in our generation. In Daniel 12:4, 3 and 4, when you read those, you'll find out that we're supposed to be the increased knowledge generation, and that generation would be running to and fro, and that's exactly what's happening. Ask any scientist, who'll tell you that we've increased more knowledge than any generation in the history of mankind. And so that's taken place. Traveling back and forth. Millions and millions of people traveling back and forth every single day. Couldn't have happened until our generation, with the inventions, obviously, of planes, jets, and mass transit. And so that's happened. Jesus tells us in the book of Revelation that there will be an army that will number exactly 200 million soldiers from the east. He gives you specific details about this. He also says that this army will cross the Euphrates River, that will dry up, and then they're going to march against the Western nation. So is it a coincidence that China came out and specifically stated, and I have this documented in my book, that today we've armed an army of exactly 200 million soldiers? Now this is happening now, since they made that announcement, since the Euphrates River is drying up. And I also document the fact that in places in the Euphrates River right now that it's so dry because of the drought, which is also part of the prophecies, that they can actually walk across the Euphrates River. This has been unheard of up until our generation, but it's happening now. Also, the drug generation. Revelation chapter 9 verse 21 states that Christ showed us that our generation was going to be the generation would be known as the drug generation, and that has happened. Not just in the United States or in Mexico or in Afghanistan, where we see a lot of the news coming out, but it's all over the world. As a matter of fact, they're legalizing drugs in many states and in many nations. And this is also, when you read Matthew, you'll find out that Matthew also tells us, in correlation to the warnings given to him by Jesus, that our generation would be a copy of Noah's generation. Noah's generation turned away from God. They were violent. They were sacrificing their kids. All this is documented. Everything that was happening there is happening now, including turning to homosexuality as a lifestyle. Every single thing that happened back then is happening now, and it's happening when all the rest of the prophecies are taking place. Now we're starting to see the earthquakes, weird weather, major storms. All these are part of all the prophecies, major signs that this is the last days. Also with the blessings of Israel. God said what He was going to do in the last days when Israel became a nation again. How He was going to bless them. And one of the things that He said was going to happen when Israel became a nation again, which was a fulfillment of prophecy, and it happened in 1948, May 14th of 1948, was God was going to rebuild the cities. The Israeli people did that when they got into Israel. They rebuilt the cities, and as a matter of fact, they're still building the cities. Also with the desert, He said that he was going to make the desert blossom as a rose. Well, when you go to my book, you'll see the documentation that Israel, that tiny nation the size of New Jersey, is the leader, one of the leading nations in the world for roses. And they already made the desert blossom with flowers and turn green. As a matter of fact, you'll see satellite photos of the Middle East, and the only nation that is green is Israel. Now, God chose Israel to demonstrate who he was, that he's God, and he is real. And there are so many other prophecies. We see, again, the rebirth of the Roman Empire, both legs, the eastern and the western end of the Roman Empire, that's here. We see the symbol of a woman riding the beast. Now, when you go to my website and you download the book in chapter 2, you'll see a picture of a woman riding on a beast. And that picture read Revelation, because John saw this figure of a woman riding on a beast, and that woman was placed on a coin, a Roman coin, or the new coin coming out of the European Union, and it has a woman riding a beast. Now, this isn't a coincidence. It is fact that God is demonstrating his word is coming to pass. And you need to understand that, because our time to witness and our time before Jesus removes the church is coming to pass. And so consider what the Lord said and consider the facts. And I challenge you to read my book and review all the facts. You be the jury. I wrote this book as a lawyer would write a case out to show that his client was innocent. And obviously, Jesus Christ was innocent when he went to the cross for us and died for us. Even while we're in our sins, he did that. And so you really need to understand, so that you can give your life, you can make that commitment to Jesus Christ, to give your life to him, so that you can be saved and escape. You have your way out. Remember, Jesus said, pray always that you be accounted worthy to escape all the things that are coming to pass and to stand before the Son of Man. He wouldn't tell you to pray for something that wouldn't be possible. And when he said you can escape all these things, that means everything. That means everything, all the warnings, the last day judgments. If you pray and you're counted worthy, you will escape it. That's the promise of God. Now, you can make an excuse to say, well, I'm going to be left behind or whatnot. But if you love the Lord, if you're saved, born again, and you trust in God, you pray and just do what the Lord asks, he'll save you from everything. So with that, take the challenge and tell others about my site. God bless.